1 minute remaining in the period.
Oh, boy. And that, my friends, was the last time this franchise won a playoff series, beating the New York Rangers in a beautiful Game 7, capped off with a shutout victory by none other than Akira Schmid, franchise legend on this channel for eternity. And Akira Schmid comes in as a member of the Golden Knights and shuts out our beloved New Jersey Devils, to no one's surprise, by a score of 3-0. I am disgusted. I have a lot to get off my chest. I'm terrified of what the comment chat section is going to look like, but we're going to get into it. And without further ado, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And the heartbreak continues. I don't really have any words of consolation, as the New Jersey Devils have now fallen 4 games in a row on home ice, shut out in the last 2, and it feels gross. It feels absolutely gross. I have nothing positive to say, and it's gross. We'll just get into the game, and then there's just so much here. I mean, I'm just Akira Schmid, guys. Who would have thunk it? Another former New Jersey Devils goaltender comes to the Rock and just dominates us. But we get to the game. First period, before we get to any scoring, it appears to be early on it was either Timo time or potentially a Timo assist to nicohischier. Nico then leads the line, so everyone thinks, okay, that was a Timo to Nico connection. And upon further review, the goal is challenged, and it's in fact ruled an offsides. Timo, I guess the ruling was, he didn't maintain possession of it because he picked the stick up. I hate these things, but the goal gets challenged. They review it. They say it's offsides, probably because of the possession. Another one of these stupid things in the NHL, and I wrote on the Twitter there. If you're not following me on Twitter, follow me on the Twitter. But that I hate these offside challenges because it's not the intention. Like, if you're off by a hair, like, it had no bearing on the goal. And I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but I think some will agree with me. Like, it's ridiculous. He's offside by a hair. It had no bearing on the goal. It's not why they scored. But nonetheless, with these reviews now, we see goals, both sides, coming back in tons of games with the offside. But follow me on X if you're not. I'll be probably ranting on there more often. But Timo's goal waved off. Then a short time later, Vegas scores with a high stick above the crossbar. Again, that's another one I honestly don't like. Like, I think you should be able to high stick it out of the air. You're at risk of high sticking someone. And if you do, it's a penalty. But if you could control it high, you should be allowed to do that, in my opinion. But anyway, a Vegas goal comes off the board. It's still 0-0, each team with a goal waved off. And then Shea Theodore gets one late in the period. You hate to see these absolute backbreakers. It seems like the Devils have kind of specialized in these types of momentum swinging, soul snatching late period goals. And they give one up. 13 seconds left in 1947. Shea Theodore gets one, gives the Knights the 1-0 lead, and that's how it ends after one period where I thought the Devils were pretty much dominated. I don't have the shot totals broken down by period in front of me, but it was rather discouraging. The Devils were just surviving early on, and it seemed like we got a break when we got that first goal, but obviously we cannot have nice things. The goal comes off the board. And yeah, so they're up 1-0 after one, a scoreless second. Devils generating a lot more shots in the second. Looked like they were possibly coming to life, although it wasn't, I wouldn't say a great performance, but compared to the first, it was much better. But nothing to show for it, obviously. And we head to the third, and Devils had, was it a couple power plays in the third? It was a couple power plays in the third. Couldn't do anything with them. Power plays kind of looked disjointed and just a complete disaster. Nothing positive to speak of on the power play. And then Hertl gets one on their power play. They get a penalty shortly after we squandered our power play. They get one, they score Hertl, and then they get another one late on another power play after I think it was on Nico. Barbashev, 3-0, game over. Akira Schmid, the franchise legend, comes back to haunt the Devils. Game stats real quick. Vegas Golden Knights, 25 shots on goal to the Devils, 24. Faceoffs, 46.8% for the Knights, 53.2% for the Devils. Golden Knights perfect on their power play, 2 for 2. And the Devils go 0 for 2 on their power play, meaning special teams tonight was horrendous. Scoreless on the power play, couldn't get a kill. You basically are 0 for 4, essentially, in terms of special teams. 0 for 4 on special teams, horrible. Golden Knights, 21 hits, Devils, 15 hits. Knights with 23 block shots, Devils with 11. They definitely got to get those up. Those numbers have been pretty paltry as of late. Block shots is a big one. Dedication to win. Eat some rubber. Golden Knights, 19 giveaways, Devils, 16 giveaways. Knights, 5 giveaways, takeaways rather. 5 takeaways for the Knights, 7 for the Devils. I'm just disgusted. I don't even want to look at these comments. Is there anyone even worth talking about here? I mean, the debut of Crookshank, again, while I did not think it was going to be a needle-moving type of thing or some vast improvement for the team, obviously much more visible than Lammikko. A lot of people said we wanted to see, I don't even think I mentioned Crookshank, but we just said in general, like, bring up a hungry guy from Utica. I was actually saying LaChance and Hallinan, I think. But we'll take the Shank. Anything over what we've seen, it's not working. Give us something. And again, I don't think replacing, bottom 6 guys is going to be some, season saving or whatever you want to call it, maneuver. But give us something to show you're trying. But again, I do feel bad for Keefe. What tools does he have here? He's got to keep rotating through minor leaguers when he already has them in his lineup. And it's not to make excuses for him. I feel Keefe has got to be the most frustrated guy on the planet right now. Once again, another year where he gets hit with ridiculous injuries, and he's got nothing but AHL guys to shuffle through from the cupboard. I mean, it's not going to get it done in this league. We're already a top 6 kind of dependent team. The bottom 6 faked us out. When Grits was in it earlier on in the season, it did look like the bottom 6 was on the upswing, and that's part of the reason why I had said a while back when everyone wanted to throw Grits in the top 6, I said, listen, I think he's obviously a bona fide top 6 player, but my fear was putting him in the top 6 is going to really hurt the bottom 6. And I'm not saying that that's the only reason, but, Grits out of that bottom 6 is, it's really not just, man, it's just disheartening. I don't even know what to say other than injuries really are a real thing. It sucks. And again, they shouldn't be this bad, even with some injuries. But my God, even Amanda Stein is injured. She has like a cast thing on her hand. I mean, when the team reporter is on the mend, something's wrong. But even with Grits in the bottom 6 tonight, nothing happened. So it's just a mess, guys. Let's just look at the stats. What did Crookshank? He played 10 minutes, 36 seconds, a block and a hit. Paulie Cotter, 3 hits. I mean, what? Markey, I know if people are going to blame Markey for this, I think you're lost. I haven't even really looked at the comments at all yet, but while Markey could have stopped that first one, in the end, what we have to have the guy pitch a shutout to squeak out a 1-0 win. Like, you cannot blame the goalie in a situation like this. Did he play great? No. But he kept them in it for a lot of the game, and we just didn't deserve to win this game, period. But Markey, 22 saves on 25 shots. And we look at the deserve to win meter, to no surprise. Vegas, 81.4% deserve to win, to the Devils, 18.6%. And, you know, if you watched any of the game, you realize the Devils just looked like they were on their heels and in a terrible way. But I will start venturing to the comments in a moment. Deserve to win meter, 81.4 to 18.6. Absolutely depressing. I am gutted. This one really, really stings, guys. As I was pretty much, after the last game, the 3-game streak and the shutout, I said at that point, like, it is close to panic time because of the standings. Unfortunately, we're a one-trick pony, and the best part of our magic trick, Jack Hughes, not in the lineup. And so for 6 more weeks without him, you easily, very, very easily could be so far out of a playoff spot that everyone just goes, you know what? Damn those injuries. Better luck next year. Maybe next year we'll make a push, because we are on the verge of that happening, I think. With another couple poor weeks, we could quickly be in the basement. I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts. The East is tight, and you cannot just sit on your hands right now while the ship is sinking. We already had holes in our roster that everyone knew, and Jack sort of kind of, hides them a little bit. A lot of the shortcomings of this roster are concealed by the overall team when Jack Hughes is in the lineup. A much more dynamic team, and they could get away with a lot more stuff and mask up kind of issues. And a lot of us kind of thought that was somewhat of the case while they were playing well, but it turns out Jack is out. It's a wrap for this team. It is pathetic. With the guys we have, they should not be playing at this level regardless. I don't know if there's any other team that is such a shell of themselves with their, with one guy being out, where they just look like a totally different team entirely. Like, obviously struggling is to be expected, maybe not perform or score as many goals, but to just play like this 4 in a row now, 2 shutouts in a row at home, it's really discouraging, honestly. And something's got to be done, because as we've said, the standings are incredibly tight, and before you know it, this season could get away. Now, I do think, if some guys step up and there's an addition or two to improve this team, that they could tread water till Jack gets back. But my God, the ship is taking on too much water right now, and I don't even know. I don't even know what to say, folks. There's lots of rumors out there. There's so much stuff. Is there anything else on my notes? I'm just going to get to the comments. It's going to be a minefield out here. I guess the only other thing is, aside from, we'll talk about that. I mean, Akira Schmid, right? You guys know I love Akira Schmid. Franchise legend, the only goalie not named Martin Brodeur to win a playoff series for the New Jersey Devils in the past 30-plus years. But I did think he was mismanaged when he was here. They kind of yo-yoed him up and down, the whole goalie mess. And it's like, you'd be lying to yourself right now if you wouldn't say you would love to have Akira Schmid here. I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. For a team that thought they were fairly set in goaltending coming into the season, like, do you still feel that way overall? I still think they'll be okay. But, Markey has been fairly shaky. I think everyone would agree. And Allen's been pretty solid, but in the end, you'd have to say that you're thinking a little bit less of them as a tandem as you did a couple months ago, I would think, for most people. And who wouldn't like to have Akira Schmid here? But it is what it is. Water under the bridge. But I do believe that was a goaltender that slipped through our fingers. He to me, I would have given him a lot of leeway because of what he did in the playoffs. I put stock, big game performances like that. We were down 2-0 to our arch rivals, the New York Rangers. We lost 2 games on home ice at the Rock with Vitek Vanacek in net. They're like, Lindy's like, bring in the kid. Akira Schmid goes into MSG, Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. Ranger fans are talking all kinds of smack. Oh, sweep, get the brooms out. And Akira Schmid goes into the Garden, wins game 3 and wins game 4. Brings the series back to the Rock, tied up at 2, not single-handedly, but played a huge part in reviving a New Jersey Devils team that was on life support, goes into the Garden, wins 2, comes back, wins a game 5 to give the Devils a 3-2 series lead. They go back to the Garden. The Rangers pull that one out, comes back to the Rock, the epic game 7, and Akira Schmid pitches a shutout, giving the Devils the only playoff series win in the 9-year careers of nicohischier and Jesper Bratt. Let that sink in, folks. Let that sink in. And 4 wins in that series of the 7 total playoff wins they've been a part of. 7 playoff games won. That should nauseate everyone to the deepest recesses of their soul. 7 playoff games won for nicohischier and Jesper Bratt. And guess what, guys? And I'm sorry to rant a little bit here. Bear with me. I'm gonna get to the chat in a minute. We're watching the same movie again. We're watching it happen again. Another disappointing season. And I'm not accepting the injuries as an excuse anymore. I think everyone's well past that. At this point, injuries are a part of this team's DNA. However it happens, on the ice, at a steakhouse, playing darts, water skiing, whatever it is, injuries are going to happen. And so the team must be constructed in a way where that does not collapse like a house of cards when your star player goes out. And right now, that is exactly what is going on with this team. And if nothing is done, we will be talking about yet another season of this core. And it very well could be the last, if we're being honest. It very well could be the last season of this core intact as we know it. But another precious season down the tubes because of what? Because of the inability or unwillingness to take some of those chips and slide them towards the middle of the table and say, we are going to try to win now. Win right now. And the longer this goes on without a deal, the more hope that will leave my body. Because, again, we've seen this, and it's just the same thing over and over again. And it's like hoping and wishing has proven to be an ineffective method of general managing in sports in general, but more specifically this team. This team, they've shown who they are without Jack Hughes. Unfortunately, we do not have Jack Hughes for probably another 6 or so weeks. And so what that means is you need to figure out how your hockey team, who's been icing several AHL players on a nightly basis for weeks now, how your hockey team is going to win enough games that A, people still want to go to your games, and B, you are firmly in the playoff hunt or at least close enough to it to give folks and the team hope. And now this is depressing, but we will pull this up. Bear with me 1 second. We had to get into the graphic department here. What a sorry night, guys. Shout out to everybody for coming out after a brutal loss. It's extra painful, and it's extra painful for me to do these. Oh shit! Where's my drink? Yo, hold on 1 second. I'm so sorry, guys. I got all fired up and I forgot. Where did I put my drink? I got it. My brother-in-law. Win or lose, we booze. Sorry about that. Tonight I'm going with this weird rum my brother-in-law left here. Win or lose, we booze. Painful night. Wow. Where was I here? Oh. The sad standings. The sad standings as of, I think this is pretty fairly updated. And as of right now, for the first time in the 25-26 season, the New Jersey Devils are officially now on the outside looking in, no longer in a playoff spot. Let that sink in. A team that a few short weeks ago, I believe it was a few weeks ago, were first place in the entire National Hockey League. First place in the entire league, and now they are looking up. Looking way up. Not way up. They're not. Let's be I guess you gotta be sensible and realistic about it. They're right there, but still, the fact that they're first in the league and now they're third in the wild card Not encouraging stuff. And so what will be done now? Because clearly this team without Jack Hughes is not going to get it done. Not going to get it done. And my biggest fear, and a lot of most people are probably more extreme than me. Again, I try to be fair with all of this. And last year, I believe when I hit the panic button it was a January weekend. It was like mid to late January when the Devils lost back-to-back games at home against the Sens and the Flyers, and they looked lifeless. That's when I hit the panic button. Last year, there was people hitting it way before that. And then there's the people that are overly optimistic that say, everything's fine while they're watching the thing burn down till the end of time. Shout out to my buddy Jordan. He's one of those people texting me that I'm crazy and all this stuff. And, you want us to make a panic trade, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, no, I want them to make a sensible trade to fill some of the glaring holes that have existed on this team for quite some time, well before the season even began. They're now just being amplified in the Jack Hughes injured era right now. And then there's the people I said that are totally writing the season off. And I'm totally not writing the season off. Not at all. I do believe they can right the ship and get it together, but it's going to require pieces coming from the outside, because as of right now, the answers to right this ship certainly do not seem to be in the organization at the moment. Obviously shuffling, career minor leaguers in the bottom six, shuffling mostly AHL career, defensemen, swapping a couple of them in and out. And it's not ideal. Poor Sheldon Keefe once again got a raw deal, but here it is. The New Jersey Devils now out of a playoff spot. And my fear, and many of yours, is that with a couple weeks of poor play, they could quickly keep dropping and find themselves in a hole that Jack Hughes will not be able to dig this team out of by the time he returns. That is a legitimate concern, I believe. And that is why I, feel the way I do right now, because this is repeating history. We've seen this before. And we need some pieces. This is just not going to get it done, period. Now, there's tons of names being thrown around out there. I've maintained, I think there's tons of guys that could help this team. I don't think we're going to be able to make multiple moves of any sort of magnitude. So it's going to be kind of one and done probably, or like two smaller pieces. But there's no shortage of names, I think, that could help this team. People are all over the place about Stamkos, and I'm not going to get into the whole Stamkos thing right now, but I do think there's a lot of people that just look at purely stats, date of birth, and make their assumptions or narratives from there. And I firmly disagree with that, but I'm not going to get off on that tangent right now because I've kept you waiting too long. Win or lose, we booze. It's been boozing for a while. Salvatore, need something stronger than booze to tolerate this team. Yeah, it certainly has not been fun. And, I have no words. I never could have dreamt or had a nightmare where the drop-off without Jack Hughes was going to be this bad. I thought at worst case, they'd be like a 500 team, but never like an elongated slide. Four consecutive games on home ice with back-to-back shutouts is damn near as ugly as it gets. And we're approaching Ranger beginning of the season territory. I forget how many times they were shut out at home, but we're approaching that. Nolan, cheers, Ace, having Chinese and Corona. Nice. What kind of Chinese? You get that General's chicken with broccoli, a little lo mein. The future is so bright, David. That's why I have these glasses on. That and my eyes are a little puffy because I was crying into my tissues during the MSG postgame. I'm a little swollen. Brian says back-to-back shutout drinks tonight. Mark, now that these guys all have their extensions and no move clause, they're just coasting, total loser mentality. I don't know if that's it, but oh yeah, I forgot to say that. The biggest disappointing thing about the game for me was that at no point, that's the typical type of game, in my opinion, where you're down 1-0 in the third, or even in the second, maybe you try to throw a big hit or maybe start a fight, something to juice up the crowd and the team. I watched this one from home, so I don't know what the crowd was like. It was kind of hard to gauge on TV. If anyone was there, definitely let me know what the crowd was like at the Rock in the chat. But, you want to see someone respond with something, some sort of fiery move, something to get the boys fired up. And we didn't really see, there was nothing of note. Go start a fight, go hit somebody, do something. do something, but we didn't see it. It was just kind of a fizzle out. And obviously after the second goal, the game was over. Javier, are you wearing dark glasses to hide the tears? Well, the tears are gone now, but it's the puffy eyes. Ivan, if this team can't win without Hughes, they should just blow the whole team up. This is clearly not working for the last several years. And these are all the questions that are going to continue on. I mean, at this point now, almost anything that even the crazy people throw out there has some sort of validity because of how bad this team looks right now. Like, it looks worse than bad. It's one thing to lose games, but it's another thing to get shut out in back-to-back games and just kind of look just so broken. I don't know what about this one. It just felt like just so broken. And I had a bad feeling going into the game. I was hoping for the best, but after that last game, I was like, I don't know. I mean, something's got to give. Something certainly has to give. Captain says, oh, Lord, all this cry needs to stop. Nobody has been making trades so far this season. I'm sure Fitz has been trying, but it takes two to tango. Our core is fine and in place for years to come. Captain THC, people like you are part of the problem. I didn't realize you were part of this camp. This is the sunshine and rainbows future is bright camp. This has been the narrative for years. It takes two to tango. No one's made a trade yet. Bullshit. The Colorado we were told there was no goaltenders available in the 23-24 season. There was no NHL caliber goalies available anywhere on planet Earth while the team drowned with poor goaltending, and every opponent broadcaster team or the national broadcast all referenced how bad the Devils goaltending was, how they need to do something to address it. Nothing happened until deadline day. We get Jake Allen and Kakkonen, but there was no possible way whatsoever to get another goalie before that. None whatsoever. And then last year, we saw early in the season, the Colorado Avalanche were like, our goaltending tandem sucks. We're going to replace them. And they go get Wedgwood and Blackwood. Replace a whole tandem in the course of a week or so. Mid-season, early season. And so the people that regurgitate that has been trying and it takes the two to tango and blah, blah, blah. Enough is enough. That's all loser mentality. We came in second. There is no more excuses. You don't need other teams to make trades before you make one. That's not a prerequisite to make a trade. You cannot afford to watch a team slowly drown again while you stand there and do nothing. Unacceptable. Timomeier says, these losers deserve this. John NJDevils, this is painful and depressing. Dry fly, I feel like I'm at a funeral. Not quite yet, but it feels like something. It feels like something. The Salty Pudding says, I feel it. I'm in several Vegas Golden Knights chats on Insta and other platforms, and trust me, it becomes hell in those chats when we lose. Are you a Knights fan? Welcome. Take care of our franchise legend, Akira Schmid. Be good to him. Timu says CBJ and Rag's going to pass them next. Bonzo, if Hughes is going to get hurt every year and we can't win without him, why not trade him and his brother? I mean, these are just ridiculous comments, guys. I've talked about this a million times. They're not trading either one. They're trying to complete the trifecta and get Quinn Hughes here. Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes are not being traded. To even discuss it is kind of psychotic, in my opinion. Mark says this falls squarely on the players and Fitz. I tend to agree with that. You know, the players have to want it more, and it just hasn't. The effort just hasn't been there, and for whatever reason, the shit show continues. But you know, the only person that I would not put any sort of blame on whatsoever is Sheldon Keefe. I mean, this guy's been doing magic tricks since he got here. I mean, it's crazy. GJ Zito, they might be eliminated by next month. It was all a mirage. I certainly don't hope so. I certainly hope not. That would be insane. That would be completely insane. SST says the Devils are going to pull the 2019 Blues. You think so? You think they have that in them? I thought you were that this team is horrible. Now you're saying they're going to pull the Blues. I can't keep track. So are you predicting them to win the Cup, SST? Jeremy Proper says, pipe dream, nothing will happen. A meh move at best, if anything. At this point, I don't know. It's the roster is obviously flawed. We wanted to talk ourselves into that maybe it would be okay, but in reality, it's not. There's just so many flaws that I don't even know if it's fixable in one season at this point. I'm now beginning to question everything, unfortunately. I still think they have decent pieces and they could do some damage, but my God, like you have to show some life, and we need a real 3C. Whether that's O'Reilly, Stamkos, if there's someone else that's not being discussed, but you got to get something. But again, is that going to make this team miraculously better overnight? I don't know. I don't know if it'll be a huge improvement, but it'll definitely be some sort of improvement. And then when you add Pesce and Jack back at some point, you hope that you're still, within striking distance of a playoff spot. But doing nothing, in my opinion, you could really get in that hole where it's real easy for upper management to be like, you know what? We're just going to pack it in. Another season punted away. Maybe we stay healthy next year. And on we go. Nolan says, wouldn't panic at all. It's our first losing slide this season. I mean, where were you for the 3-game losing streak that preceded the 3-game winning streak? They now lost. They had a 3-game losing streak that the last one was in Philly, that terrible performance. Then they won 3 in a row, and a lot of us were like, okay, we could breathe again. And now they've lost 4 in a row. So you're talking about a team that is 3-7 in their last 11. Or 10. 3-7, 10, yeah. Not good. Not good. Evan, thank you for the super. Fitzgerald should be fired. He did a good job of getting the Devils out of irrelevancy, but not the guy to bring this team to a Stanley Cup final. Fire him. I feel like he's probably bulletproof, because if he wasn't, I don't think anyone would sit idly the way he has. Like, you would have to believe that nothing's happening to you to do that. Like, to me, that's sitting idly is almost more bold than making what some would call a bold trade. I think in this situation, it's more bold to do nothing. It's like, what? If you thought your job could potentially be on the line, I don't think you're going to sit there and do nothing. You're going to make a trade and hope it works out, because even if it doesn't, you'll be canned before too long from now anyway. So what does it even matter? And so to me, it seems like this is not even a remote concern of his, which makes it even more concerning to think that may be part of the reason why we're not going to see him move. Who knows? But I hope he does something. I mean, I don't know what to put into the rumors. I think it was LeBron or somebody recently. Again, a different source stating that the Devils were potentially interested in Stammer from Nashville. But who knows? A lot of these things I think are put out as like propaganda to drive prices up or whatever. There's a lot of gamesmanship going on through the media and things when it comes to trades. But it's time for something to happen, because this is not great. Oh, now we got some crazy trade proposals in the chat. All right, let me catch up. See, I'm already falling behind. Yeah, second losing slide this season for sure. It's been realism for a while now. Mark, after Timo's goal was disallowed, the team gave up. It did seem a little deflating. It really sucked. When they got the goal, I was fired up because we were getting dominated before that. So it's like, okay, maybe we could snatch the momentum a little bit here. And then it comes off the board and it's like, oh my God, like what horrible, horrible luck this team has. Fentanyl Floyd says it's not dooming, it's pattern recognition. Traveling, plenty of time to right the ship. Completely agree. But there's also not a ton of time to get the ship back on course. The ship must get corrected ASAP, because the standings are insanely, insanely tight. And there's no more games to just throw away points. Salvatore's season isn't over, but we need some serious proof of life. 100%. Brian says Fitz will make no moves. I don't think he does nothing, but I think it's going to be something underwhelming again. Alex, there's hardly ever a time a team was like this and won a cup. Traveling Fitz just has to do his job. Christopher says a trade should be made by Monday. I agree. Tomorrow is another, now these games are just getting bigger and bigger. These are some of the bigger games you're going to see in December, given the way everything has shaken out for this Devils team this season. I mean, wow. Tomorrow, they're staring down the barrel of 5 in a row. got their work cut out from taking on the Bees at TD God. And once upon a time, I thought about going to that game. But given the winter weather and the way this team is playing, the time and financial investment to go travel to Boston to go watch this team at this very moment in time is just not something that I'm going to put myself through. Oregano dealer, what will get us McDavid? What would it take at this point? McDavid is not getting traded, and he's certainly not getting traded to the Devils. That's hilarious, though. There's zero chance of ever seeing McDavid play for the Devils, unfortunately. Would love him, but never happen. Bonzo says, stop buying merchandise and going to games till they start making moves. They said, what is this, like a fan protest? I mean, in theory, but that would the masses would never do that. Like, you would need like every single person to do it for anything to happen. And it's clearly not going to happen. Yo, Holmes says, just play Angus all day. Ryan, hashtag wake up Fitzy. Brian, ownership is definitely not hands-on for better or worse. I actually don't know in this situation whether that would be better or worse. I would say it probably doesn't matter too much. But Brian, you can't have a hockey team be so reliant on one player, especially when the team outside that player is supposed to be much better. Well, that's the thing. I don't think, when you look at the roster, it's kind of mind-boggling how they play so poorly without him. It's not like, we have Jack Hughes and then 10 guys that no one knows who they are or all bottom six type guys. Like, we have firepower. Nicohischier, Jesper Bratt, Timomeier, guys like Dawson Mercer, Gritsuk, a guy like Connor Brown, even for a decent bottom six piece. Like, there is no reason why this team should be getting shut out on home ice in back-to-back games. Completely inexcusable. But you knew Akira Schmid coming in, it was like a joke. It was a joke going around online. Everyone was like, yeah, here we go again. Akira Schmid, another goalie's going to come in and dominate career game. I think, what did I tweet? I tweeted something just similar to that right before the game. And I hate that I'm right about it. I said, oh my, it's Akira Schmid in net, career game loading. And that probably wasn't his career game, but a very good one that he comes in and shuts out his former team. I can't imagine how good he must have felt skating off the ice at the Rock. It must be the greatest rush for a kid like that, for an organization that, quite frankly, I'm pretty sure that his true feeling is that he got jerked around here, and I would completely agree with him. I didn't like it when it was happening. Again, I may be overly compensating for his playoff performance, but guess what? He did something no one else did for quite some time before that, and no one has done since. He won a round, and it was in heroic fashion against our arch rivals. Like, for a big boy performance like that, you are going to get way more leeway from me. Way, way more leeway. And as we all know, sometimes it takes these goalies a long time to develop. He just kind of got jerked around. I think the relationship kind of soured, and he was dealt. And it's unfortunate because it would be amazing to have him in our goaltending stable right now. I mean, you'd be lying if you said otherwise. Ride and respect. Thank you for the super. Ace, my man, you're right. There's time to fix this. Problem is I don't have any faith that they will. This situation sucks. That's the thing, right? You're going to see how serious they are about winning based on what we see in the coming weeks. I mean, if we don't see a trade before, I'll tell you this, because of how it's played out, even if we won 4 games in a row now, I would still feel the same way I feel right now. And that is consistently inconsistent, not good enough. And you might have little pockets of success here and there, but in the end, you are going to be a very mediocre at best, at worst, a horrific hockey team. And pieces must be added, and they must be added soon. Hoping and wishing is not going to get it done. Absolutely not going to get it done. And not making the playoffs should be, that would be like, I can't even put into words what missing the playoffs would be. David S., we don't deserve to be a playoff team. Shut out twice, back-to-back teams in the playoffs score goals. Yeah. Oh, man. Captain THC, come on, man. Don't be that brainwashed. You could be the first team to make a trade. Someone's got to be. Traveling Fitz needs to make a move ASAP while the good players that will be traded this year are still available. Top Jimmy Fitz will trade Nemitz for Stamkos or Ryan O'Reilly. I promise you that Nemitz will not be traded in a deal for either one of those guys. I could assure you of that. Now, could Nemitz possibly be traded in a deal for Quinn Hughes? That's a possibility. But Fitz is certainly not going to trade Nemitz for Stamkos or Ryan O'Reilly. That's crazy. Tay McLeod Ace, if you were Fitz, what would you try to do to get us through while Jack and Pesci are gone? I mean, something's better than nothing. I can't tell you exactly what I would do. I mean, this is a ridiculous kind of hypothetical game, but if O'Reilly is available, and it seems like he is, that's a pretty easy one to grab, in my opinion. I think they had said they were asking for a first and a prospect or something. I give it to him tomorrow and be done with it, if that's the case. I'm certainly looking to trade away futures versus gutting the roster. I've talked about this before. You see it tonight. Like, imagine on a night like tonight, if we didn't have Mercer, how much worse would we have looked? I would say a good chunk. And so I don't want to trade Mercer. Again, I've said everybody is tradable in the right deal. If the team is improved by a deal, then everyone's on the table potentially. But in some deal like this, it'd be a silly lateral move. I would not want to trade Mercer. And so if we're talking about prospects and picks, ship them now and get win now pieces, because this window is not going to be open forever. And it is open right now, but it's not going to be open forever. And so the more you wait around and waste time and let seasons go by the wayside where you miss the playoffs or back into the playoffs and get smacked by Carolina in 5 games, losing mentality. You gotta use some of those assets. And so for me, I guess the short, quick answer would be a guy like O'Reilly. I would be in on Stamkos. A lot of people are against it. Again, I don't think these people watch Stamkos or understand beyond the stats and age that they look up. And while I understand that Stammer is nowhere near the player that he used to be, with heavy retention on that contract, I don't know how anyone wouldn't think that Steven Stamkos would be an amazing 3C, or even potentially on a top 6, on a wing on the top 6 occasionally, maybe, if we want to give different looks. But I think as an everyday 3C, or most of the time 3C, that would be a great luxury to have. Winner, has won everything, leader. Could use another guy like that. Mario says, we went from this is not the same Devils team, they'll win a cup, to they're going to miss the playoffs. Well, unfortunately, injuries to Jack Hughes and Brett Pesce could do that to your team. You know, if Pesce and Jack were still here, we'd probably still be feeling that way. But the reality is they are not. And how that plays out on the ice is unfortunately not good. Larry, only 7 goalies have had 2 or more shutouts in the playoffs during the rookie season. Of course, Marty's on that list. Schmid is the 7th, and all the other 6 had long, good careers. Fitzgerald. Do we need another 35 bad contract? Over 30, another 35 bad contract? Again, no. I'm a logical person. I have no interest in Steven Stamkos at his full contract cap hit of $8 million. But if they're going to retain $3 or $4 million of that, certainly sign me up. There's not many first ballot Hall of Famers that you could obtain in a deal like this to plug a hole that you have had in your roster for quite some time now. It doesn't come up all the time. Now, is he the Steven Stamkos of old? No. But do I think he will play much better here, getting out of Nashville and being on a team with some new, younger-ish energy of a team looking to make that real run? I do think he plays better. And with retention, I certainly would take the chance. That is a win-now move. Jubilee says, I can't watch this team sober anymore. Brian, nobody would be dumb enough like yourself to think you would need another team to trade with. The point is you explore, you get it done. Obviously, you don't know hockey or logic, missing the point. I guess that's to someone else in the chat. But yeah, I mean, the excuses are tired now. Teams are making trades all the time. No one wants to hear the excuses. Arnott, we can't be in win now mode. We are so far away from that. It's just not offense. It's defense. It's tending. It's special teams. We are so far away. Yeah, again, I'm not trying to lean on the excuses, but with Pesce and Kovacevic back, everything looks different. The pairings are going to switch up. I think the defense overall will look better. Just Pesce, I think, will be a good help. And then obviously Pesce and Jack is massive it is a different team, whether you want to admit it or not. And it's unfortunate that the drop off is so significant, but you cannot deny the fact that when they're on the team and playing, it is a different team. Jack, unless there's a big name premium piece and the Devils is traded out because that's what's needed, this team is screwed. And I guess he's referring to a one of those earth-shattering kind of foundational shake-up moves. I don't know that we'll see that. I mean, everyone had to realize that these types of things were going to be said and asked in a situation like this. I mean, it is fair, given the circumstances, given that we are watching the same movie all over again. Questions like this are fair to be asked, and while I don't have the answer to it, it certainly is a fair question to be asked. I don't know that we see it this season. Maybe that's something that's explored in the offseason. I guess a lot really depends on, what this team looks like as they get closer to the deadline. Do they make any moves sooner than later and then kind of maybe reassess for a second wave of moves or a move closer to the deadline? I don't know. But there's definitely a lot of possibilities kind of floating in the air right now, for sure. But very disappointed not to see a response, really. A true, just fiery response from anyone. I mean, wow. Christopher, Ace, we had a solid debate on Captain Pouty. Really hard to say now he's meant to lead this team. Again, I don't know that we've talked about this before. I don't know. I don't think it's an insane question to pose. I don't know that that's one of the issues going on with this team. It's just, they're just not performing. And to blame it on something, maybe that could be a part of it. I don't really think it is. But like I said, it's a fair question to kind of put out there, but I don't think that that's the case. I just think we have a lot of underperforming players, combined with some bad luck. Goals getting, like if that Nico goal stood, like, okay, we're up 1-0. You can't say you're definitely going to win the game, but obviously you have a decent chance of winning with the lead. Oh, man. Yeah, these comments are brutal. Yeah, they didn't show the Kiev press conference on TV. I don't know if there's going to be one online or not. I typically go watch all that stuff. After I get off of here, I go watch all the stuff that wasn't on TV. But certainly going to be a depressing one. I mean, I'm depressed coming on here right now. It takes a lot to sit here. Bobby, thank you for the super. I'm at a loss for words, Ace. It's utterly amazing how the team is so inconsistent. There's way too much talent on this team to be this bad. Our power play looks so bad, and our offense execution is non-existent. I'm all for, it says hiring Fitz, but I'm assuming that was a typo, and it meant to say firing Fitz. Well, he's gonna have his chance to either do something or not. I don't think he's gonna get fired. I don't think there's any pressure on him because, like I said, if I thought, or if he thought there was any pressure whatsoever, I don't think he would be so comfortable with doing nothing. But hopefully he's trying to, some of these reports are true, and he's trying to make a move. Would be nice. My keyboard got messed up here. Power play, yeah. Everything just looks a mess without Jack. Life is better without Jack. Everything is better with Jack. And it sucks. It really sucks right now. I don't have anything positive really to say. I'm not a silver linings guy. I'm not a moral victories guy. And I don't think that even the most optimistic person can really find one in losing 4 consecutive games on home ice and getting shut out in 2 in a row. I mean, I just don't think. And to add to the insult, the the fact that it was a goaltender that we let slip through our fingers. When all of a sudden, I think it'd be fair to say that there's questions kind of surrounding the goaltending at the moment as a whole. And so the guy that we had that we mismanaged comes back and shuts us out like every other goalie who's ever played here comes back and dominates. And it's just another reminder of, mismanagement. That's what it comes down to. The guy should have never been dealt. And I love Paulie Cotter. But, I mean, Schmid could be a long-time goalie for the Knights or somewhere else potentially. But, wow. Wow. Yeah, the comments are pretty doomerish. All right, I got to speed ahead here. My apologies. Shout out to everybody for coming out. I'm super behind. David Ace, honestly, I would trade Stamkos for Hamilton straight up. You save $1 million in cap space, and chances are Steven will score more than Dougie. He will never have another 78-point season again. No, because then you're still on the hook for Stammer's 8. I don't know if I like that. I feel like you could do better. You somehow move Dougie in a separate deal, maybe where you hopefully don't have to retain it all, and then you get Nashville to retain on Stamkos. I think you need to be more than plus, net plus 1 million in that whole exchange. And I think there is a way to go about that. John Lopez, Ace, don't you think teams have learned the lesson that all they have to do is shut Jack Hughes down and you'll beat the Devils? The secret is out, I'm afraid to say. That's not always the case when he's in the lineup. When he's in the lineup, it dictates a lot of things, matchups, everything's kind of different. And so everybody benefits when Jack is in the lineup. Obviously, we benefit from his offense, but then maybe some other guys are going to get an easier matchup because now maybe the top defending line is going to be against Jack, and now that opens up some other guys to score. And so it's not necessarily, a linear thing. And so just saying shut down Jack Hughes and you'll beat the Devils, I think is a little simplifying it. And furthermore, that's like saying in the 90s, like, oh, we're playing the Bulls, just shut down Jordan and we'll win. Like, easier said than done. What do you think? That the teams didn't know that Jack Hughes was on our team when they came to play? Like, obviously everyone knows you got to shut down Jack Hughes, but that's a very difficult thing to do. He's an elite player in this league. Man. Salvatore, trading Huberdeau and the Cats were on top seemed nuts at the time, but turned out to be the move the team needed. Yeah, obviously Zito's a legend. He brought in Matthew Tkachuk, changed the fortunes and the culture of that organization forever. 3 cup finals in a row, back-to-back cup champs. There should be a statue of that man outside of their arena. Christopher says, Captain THC, people like you are the problem. Completely agree. Making the excuse that there's no team to trade with and this and that, it takes 2 to tango, enough. Mario says, Ace, be honest, the funeral started after the Chicago cut incident. I didn't think it was over. I did not think it was over. I thought they would, struggle a little bit, but I'd never anticipated a full-on tanking. I never saw this type of bottoming out happening. I really didn't. Now, some of the doomers will be like, we told you so, but they're saying that all the time. And so sometimes their bad predictions will play out, but the season's still far from over. I'm not writing the season off, but the state of the team at this very second is somewhat disastrous. So imagine Fitch trying to replace a tandem in the same season to have an aneurysm. My buddy Goody Ace, Romano Italiano, I agree with you all the time, but the Lightning didn't resign Stamkos for a reason. His contract stinks, but what do I know? Like the stream people, there are more for 42 of us. Yeah, hit the like. But again, I don't. This is what people have to understand. I have no interest in getting Stamkos at his contract of $8 million. You people realize there's something called retention. You could make the other team pay a portion of his salary. So there's a world where we could hypothetically have Steven Stamkos at a cap hit of, call it $4 million, $5 million, whatever it is, a reduced rate from his full salary because the other team's going to pay for it, and that's called retention. I would have zero interest in Steven Stamkos without retention from the Predators. And the Lightning didn't sign him because he was asking for probably around what he got from the Predators, which was $8 million. And I fully agree. He's not worth the $8 million, but I'll take him at a discount for sure. For sure. All right. I'm super behind. Sorry, folks. We're going to speed up a little bit. So many comments, so much dooming. Brian says roster needs to be shook up. Enough is enough. Too early for panic? I don't think so. Or maybe not panic, but close to panic. Severe concern. I don't know what terminology or whatever you want to call it, but it's that time. 4 in a row and back-to-back shutouts. We've seen enough. The weightlifting lab says more Canadian players, please. Wouldn't mind that. I love some big North American boys. Win or lose, we booze. I need a oh boy. See if Yager's willing to come back. Jason, no, I think this team might have been overvalued after 22-23. We're going into year 3 and we look further away from winning a cup. We do, and that shouldn't be the case. And that's part of the problem. And then you look at the constants. What is the constant? You tell me, what is the constant? So we've changed coaches. We've changed some goalies. But look around. What are the constants? And I firmly agree. As of right now, I would say this team as a whole has certainly regressed from that franchise record-setting 112-point season in 22-23, which saw us win that beautiful 7-game series against the Rangers, as shown in the beginning of this very live, where Akira Schmid became a franchise hero for eternity, beating the New York Rangers after being in a 2-0 hole, going into the Garden on the road. David says it's time for everyone to attend a home game to wear a brown paper grocery bag with eyes cut out to shame this trash hockey play. Natasha says, I think Stammer is washed. You're very young. No offense to you, but you're going to think that. That's the narrative being parroted by all the young people that didn't really see Stammer in his prime or comprehend what a guy like that brings to the locker room. It goes beyond the little sheets and the stats. Stammer is an absolute legend. First ballot Hall of Famer. Give me a guy with a cannon blast shot like that any day of the week. Thomas, the lack of mental toughness on this team year after year is stunning. I don't care anymore. Just get anyone. Anson Timo denied 3 goals in 3 games. Wild. Yeah, he's definitely been on the rough end of some of these challenges. Larry, what can Fitzgerald do? His hands are tied by the cap and those no-move clause contracts, but he's the one that tied his own hands. There's still other ways out, I believe, but obviously all of those things kind of, all the trade protections make it a little bit harder. Bobby, thank you for the super. My computer just glitched out. At this point, I'm entirely fed up. Big moves need to be made. I'd trade Bratt. He's been invisible all year. Bratt, Casey, and a first for Thompson. They're not going to trade Thompson. Some of you guys keep throwing out these names of guys that aren't going to get traded. Like, listen, if I was the general manager of a team, I would just call other general managers unsolicited and just start making offers like this. I don't think that people really do that, but I don't know why you wouldn't. But I don't think any of these trades are remotely realistic. It's nice to dream, but I just can't see it. I would love Tage, though. He's super high on my list. Adam says Devils will be in last by Christmas. I certainly hope not. And if that's the case, we're definitely not going to add any pieces. And that's more to my point of why I feel so strongly about having to do something sooner than later. Because if, we wait even a few weeks, we could be at the point where it's almost like we're destined to become sellers or sellers to some extent, which is disgusting to think about. Brian, team needs to get bigger and more physical. They're small and weak, and even if they eke into the playoffs with this soft roster, they're not playoff built, no grit, no size. I can't say that I disagree. And this has been the knock on this team for years, in my opinion. They need some nasty guys. Get another guy, even a Diet Coke version of timomeier. Get 2 of them. Alex says, no country for old men, and we're looking for more oldies to add while young guns out there tear up the league. Well, what young guns would you like to get? Sometimes win now pieces are vets. Kids are cute toys, but in the end, I want warriors who have been down the road before. And Stammers want everything there is to win. A leader of men. Gleason, Fitz either makes the right moves, which are highly difficult for him. Otherwise, I don't buy in for the rest of the season. Yo, Holmes says, how much to bring Bill Guerin back home to be GM to replace Bluesface? Man, Billy G, I feel like, is one of the ones that got away. It is unfortunate. It is crazy to see the career he's had as an executive after his playing days. And what a legend. He was at the Pens for a while, and I think an assistant GM role before eventually taking the reins in Minnesota. I mean, wow. Now he's the general manager of Team USA Hockey. Good for Billy G. Always a guy I liked a lot when he was a Devil. Would love to have a couple guys like him on our team today. Oregano, shout out twice in a row, and people still labeling realists as doomers is crazy this late into the big 2025. Tate McLeod, is there a move that you would want to see Fitz make that would make sense for us? I mean, there's tons. Go get an improvement to this team and trade future pieces. Period. Jack, when's the last time they won in Boston? I don't know. That's a good question. Can someone look that up? I'm too lazy. Captain, Ace must be sitting in Fitz's office. He sees how much he's doing. Nothing. Let Ace be the GM since he knows exactly how to right the ship, just like all these other armchair GMs in this chat. No, I certainly have no aspirations to be a GM, nor do I think I should be one, nor would I want to be one. But the point is, I could tell you how it doesn't get fixed. And that's by doing absolutely nothing. It doesn't take a GM or a genius or anything of the sort to be like, I saw our team do nothing last year. And what happened? We got smacked in the playoffs. I saw them do nothing the prior year. And we were drowning with horrible goaltending. Couldn't get goaltenders till on deadline day when it was already too late. And what happened? We missed the playoffs. And so pointing out the obvious, like myself, millions of media members, millions of fans online, literally the entire universe essentially that follows this team or has anything invested in this team in any way has been pretty much saying a slight variation of the same message, which is we've seen this before and it's time for something to happen. That is a very logical consensus by anyone who's followed this team. That there's just no running from it. All right, I'm still far behind here. We're morphing ahead. Oh my God, yeah, the minutes go by quick. All right, let's see. Flying through. Jay Snow, this team is so one-dimensional. And that, I think, there lies the biggest issue for this team is that they are indeed a one-trick pony. The one trick pretty much being the speedy transition game is pretty much their entire identity. And Jack Hughes being the kind of poster child for that. And even with Jack on some nights, opposition that really studied film were able to implement a strategy to give the Devils a hard time. And a lot of times they won't get to that B and C game where they got to go dump and chase and go to the corners and muck it up and try to grind out some dirty goals. When that speedy transition game is shut down, a lot of times the Devils look, quite frankly, bad. We've seen some games where they've gutted out wins, but it's not what they prefer to do, and they do not excel at it. And so when you do that, it makes the team sort of exposed. And when your best guy, Jack Hughes, is not in the lineup, it's even easier for these teams to shut us down. And unfortunately, that is the identity of this team right now. And until they figure out a way to generate offense in an ugly fashion on some nights and get some of these guys in here that are going to help them do that, it's going to be rough. I've looked at Schmid's numbers. They're pretty good. I'll take it. What is his save percentage? A hair under 900? Now it's going to be over. Let's look at his numbers and see how bad they are according to you. Just go into the graphic room here. And we go to the Akira Schmid stats. So this season he's played 16 games. He started 14. Akira Schmid is 10-2 with a 2.35 goals against and a save percentage of .903 and 2 shutouts. Sign me up, Captain THC. What was that? They're not great. I'm going to say they're pretty great. 10-2 with a 235 and .903 and 2 shutouts. Sign me up. I will call that great. Mark says, don't forget Zito got Kachuk and Sam Bennett. Yeah. Bennett, and then he went out and got, I can't even remember in order, but then finally it was Seth Jones, Marchand, Wild. Gets them all to re-sign. Team-friendly deals. Running with the Woodson. Our style of play sucks. We are built to play Jack hockey, and Jack plays 50% of the games. Can't say you're wrong there either. It's unfortunate that we have no other guys that, kind of specialize in a different type of game. Instagram hockey? Are we calling this Instagram hockey? Oh man, I'm just so depressed right now. My whole weekend vibe got messed up. Tito, this team will sink like a stone in water. Collect records. You just solved the problem. Bluesface thinks everything ages like the wine he's chugging all day. Robert Ace, I'll still take a 16-11-1 now if I would have known our injuries. Yeah, but I can't use that logic anymore after seeing how this is watching the actual games and living through it. I mean, to lose 4 in a row, it's just back-to-back shutouts like this just cannot be happening. You cannot lose one guy and then just have your season just completely go up in smoke. It's just unacceptable. Selling Tang for McKenna, terrible. Terrible. No, I'm not married or in my mom's basement. And you wish you had some of these toys, my guy. Some of these items are worthy of being in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but make fun all you want. Clearly not in my mom's basement, but thank you. Thank you for your idiotic comment. So funny. Don't be upset because you got slapped by everybody in here for being an idiot. Say stupid stuff, and the crowd will handle you appropriately. Coordinator, send Fitzy back to where he was. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Just hope that he strikes a deal, and hopefully soon. Luke, just a heads up, Nashville only has 1 retention spot left. Well, they should hopefully be penciling Stammer in there for some team. The game and vibe was so bad at the Rock tonight. I felt like it was 2015, just going to games for beers and dollar hot dogs. Man, dollar hot dog night would be. They should do it again. True Patriot, I would take Stamkos for $4 million with Nashville retaining the other 4. I can't get over the former goalie just killing us. Yeah, that's happened pretty much with every former goalie that's come back here in the past couple of years. Running with the Woods and the constant is Jack is always injured. Time to go. In fact, I'll say this team absolutely sucks now. Legitimately one of the weakest teams in the league in their current form. I mean, could be. It could be. True Patriot. Popped in for a few, but love the show, Ace. But this is like an AA meeting while we were all still drinking. Same show, same results year in and year out. I can't say you're wrong. It certainly seems like it is more of the same. The only thing we could hope for is that we do see a deal. And now that LeBron has reported the thing about Stammer, I mean, listen, you guys, I know so many people are going to be, if it happens, so many people are going to be talking smack about it. And I will be doing the exact opposite. The exact opposite. If we get Stammer with some healthy retention, I will be thrilled. And I think other people will be thrilled in time. But if it gets announced, I can only imagine the stuff that people are going to be, writing and saying about it. I didn't see it yet. Check something here. Brat Luke in a first for Thompson, throw Jack in too. Come on, man. Now everyone's just getting crazy. Evan, if we beat the Bruins tomorrow, the mood wouldn't be too much different in here. Just letting you know, Ace. I mean, I would be acting very, I don't think I'm being crazy or anything. We're just talking about reality here. But no, a win tomorrow is not going to do anything in the grand scheme of things. Great, we won a game. We got points we desperately needed, but that's not making anyone feel better or make the reality any different. Mace, we're seeing the reality of our team and organization. We're not serious enough or built for the long haul. And what's worse is I don't think the owners care. We're just a marketing product now. Could be. In a lot of ways, it might seem like that. Tito, Mogilny was older when he came over. Correct. Mogilny, when he was traded here, was like 31, I believe. 31 years old. 2000 Cup champ with the New Jersey Devils. What a season. Mark says, again, no need to chase the big names. Go out and get the Bobby Carpenters, Tom Chorskys, and Zelapukins. Okay. Is Fitz going to find those guys and pull the trigger on them? Where are you coming up with this? Stamkos, I think, has like 2 years left on his deal. Cooked until 2032. Yeah, he's got 2 years after this. Everything gets away with this team, not just Billy G. Coordinator Bill Guerin does need to come back. He's not coming back. He's loving life right now. I'm getting closer to caught up here. Larry says the Diet Coke version of Timo might just be Gritsuk next season if he bulks up a little more. I would love to see that. He's like sneaky physical. He's not like crushing guys quite the way Timo does, but he uses his weight to kind of bull his way through a lot. I do like that about Grits, and obviously his shot and everything else. I think he's going to be a special player. Can we go get Shani as our GM? That would be interesting. But isn't he still... Wait, is he still with the Leafs? I can't keep track. Wait, is Shani with the Leafs or no? No, Shani's a free agent. Interesting. Forgot about him. The analytics, they do nothing. More people complaining about Luke. Tropical Flamingo, if attendance slips at the Rock, then and only then does ownership act. I mean, I'm pretty sure attendance, I mean, it's obviously part of the time of year. This is always a weird one. Holiday time, people are busy. They're watching their money. They're spending money on gifts and all kinds of holiday crap. Busy doing holiday related things, and it's cold outside and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, tickets, the demand has been pretty soft the past couple of weeks, I think. And probably a function of all those things I just mentioned, along with the team being uninspired, playing uninspiring hockey, and without their superstar, that's all going to hit you at the box office. And I think it certainly has. Will it be enough for them to make a trade or something? I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think it'd be that significant of a kind of factor for it to play into that. Mark said, rather have a team of old jalopies with strong engines than a bunch of sports cars with problematic transmissions. I like that. Are we counting Stammer being classified as an old jalopy? Because if he is, that's an old jalopy I would love to have. I've said it for quite some time, and I will be unmoved from that point. Again, only with retention. I'm not a crazy person, but if you don't think getting a guy like that could help a team like us at the moment at a heavy discount, you're crazy. This is one of the most depressing homestands I could ever remember. Horrendous. I mean, it doesn't get much worse than 0-4 with 2 shutouts. It's pretty much as bad as it gets. Would you take Milan Lucic for cheap? No. He's completely not. So when people want to use the term washed, that's a term you apply to a guy like Milan Lucic, not Steven Stamkos. Milan Lucic is washed. He got dropped from like a PTO of an AHL team. He's done. Completely done. But that is not Steven Stamkos. There's a very big difference. Evan, we need new blood on the team to shake up the style of play. Every night is dollar hot dog night if you don't go to the game. That's pretty funny. Larry said, Utica won tonight and Malik looked good. Both Lenny and Squire scored. Very nice. Do you have access to the AHL games? I meant to look into how to get that. I've been running around myself doing a bunch of nonsense. But I would like to figure out how to get the AHL games. Probably some online streaming thing. Pesci's probably still at least a few weeks away. Fitz missed on every draft pick. I mean, a lot of them. It's unfortunate. Last time the Devils won in Boston was in the 19th century. Oh, my God. Hit the like button. Hit the like for your boy. Hit the like for your boy out here just taking bullets in the doomsday chat here. Trevor, why is there no effort? When I play beer league and my team plays like the Devils, I go out and stir shit up to get the team involved. We need a Cam Jansen type who hits everything. I'd mentioned Sherwood, and people chirped me because when the tweet came out from somebody that they were supposedly looking for a second rounder, I literally tweeted immediately, I'll trade a second rounder for him tomorrow, because I thought that was an absurd steal. And then the reports came out like a day or two later that the Canucks wanted way more than that for him. And so the second rounder would have been nice in comparison to what they're really looking for. But I'd love a guy like him. I do think we need more of those sandpaper character guys that are just going to be agitators and bring some energy. It just seemed like tonight, I was waiting for someone to do something, and it just never happened. Coordinator says, next game I attend, I will display a Fire Fitzy banner. Oh, boy. Jason, no, I don't want to spend assets on Stammer and still not be good. Well, unfortunately, when your window is slowly closing in front of your face, you got to take some chances. And if we're talking about assets in the form of a prospect and picks, why hoard them? Why hoard them or use them? Because in the end, then you're talking about the future is bright. Then you're back to the future is bright. If you want to see this core win a cup, it's got to happen in the next few years, and you got to make a move. Precious seasons are burning off. Ryan says tonight's game was not a marquee at all. I completely agree. Jason, the Islanders retool looks really good right now. Yeah, I mean, they had some good pieces to build from. Unfortunate they lost Palmieri. Shout out to former Devil, though, Kyle Palmieri with the assist of the year, setting up a goal on a torn ACL on the way to the bench. What a play. Picks somebody's pocket and sets up a goal. But, yeah, obviously Schaefer's been phenomenal for them. He's going to run away with the Calder as Rookie of the Year. My Grits Rookie of the Year bet has no chance. I had to throw a couple bucks on it, though, at 50-1. And how are you not going to take Grits? 50-1. Mark says a win tomorrow would just make Fitz wait longer to make any move. It's possible, but in the end, like, how delusional can one be to think, one win after going 3-7 in your last 3-7 in your last 10? How winning one game in Boston all of a sudden changes your outlook on the season. Like, let's be real. Win tomorrow denies the inevitable. Let's talk about pork roll. I don't think Pesci's coming back till late December or early January. Jason said if they're buried by the end of December, this team's not going to get any additions. It's time to sell. That would be absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah, 2 more years. No, not a GM that's necessarily focused on physicality, but a GM that addresses the glaring needs of the team before it's too late. It's not just a physicality problem. It's not like, oh, we need to go get all these tough guys, but getting a couple guys that have a little edge to their game would be nice. But it's just the roster as constructed right now, it's shown that it's heavily flawed. It's a heavily flawed roster. And what's going to be done to fix it? Amagi, don't know why I decided to show up to the Rock tonight. I was spared from the Dallas game to attend this one. I almost went too, but I was like, you know what? I just want to watch this one at home and relax. And luckily, unfortunately, it was a brutal game. Fortunately, I did not trek out for it in the tundra. The New Jersey winter tundra. I hate the winter so much. I hate the cold. I hate the dark. Tito, what I meant by Mogilny is that move would be similar to bringing over Stamkos. Well, the difference, I mean, yeah, in theory, it's just kind of adding a good player, sure. But Mogilny had never won a cup before that. We're getting Stammer with the winning pedigree. And before everyone goes, oh, it's the same what they said about Palat. Like, please don't insult Stamkos by lumping him in with Palat in any way. It's just a ridiculous comparison. This fan base has severe Palat-induced PTSD to where anytime there's anyone who's remotely a little bit older now, they act as if, mid-30s is like 65, and that every guy over the age of 30 is washed up and over the hill and blah, 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 because it's just nonsense rhetoric. 2 more years after this. It's not like he's got 7 years left. Army would be nice to probably can from Seattle somehow. That was a guy that we talked about last year. This team is soft. Go out and get Cam Jansen as a GM. He'll go down there and set shit straight, make everyone an enforcer. Shout out to Cam Jansen. What a guy. Trevor, I was going to go to a game before Christmas, but no way I'm paying for this misery. Well, you might not have to pay a lot, especially if things continue on this way. No, David, I did not go. I watched at home. The man from Jers 201, I'm depressed over 120 plus minutes of hockey without a single thing to get excited about. Yeah. The shutout streak continues. Hey, Russo, Stammer got 8 goals on the worst team. I'd take him 50% and Polak going the other way. What would a trade for him look like? Anything that doesn't gut the roster. I mean, I don't see why Nashville would do that deal, but anything where we're not giving up anything. I mean, they can't want too much from him. The market on him is not going to be. I mean, I guess with retention, there'd be maybe at least a couple other teams interested with retention, but I'm not trying to give up a fortune for him. You just got to get crafty with it. I don't think it would take a roster player. Futures, baby. What do we have to offer to get Stamkos on retention plus taking on some of our cap problems? Futures, prospects. This is where maybe you have to move a guy like Seamus Casey and picks. And I know a lot of you are going to think this is crazy. I'm not married to Salayev either. The big Russian defenseman. You know what? If you could get something of value for him that puts us, gets us a win now piece, I would dangle him as well. Because in the end, what are we doing here now? Precious seasons are burning off. At what point do you think adding to this current core roster becomes a waste in which you wind up with more players who don't gel? When do they seriously make a change to shock the core and seriously start adding where they can, where it makes sense? I think you could potentially add to the core and be a good team. I don't think you necessarily need to break up the core. Now, if on the path to improving the team overall, you have to trade one of the core pieces, maybe. I don't think that's the route Fitz is going to go. But I do think there's plenty of options out there to improve this team one way or another. There's no excuse to do nothing. David, so many people saying trade Stamkos for Palat and something else. I thought the only reason making sense to get him is to keep Palat because they both played together in Tampa and can reunite again. Some people are making that or talking about that. That is not remotely that wouldn't be a plan or a goal of mine personally. And then I would say it would be crazy to bring in Stamkos probably even with, unless it was, I just don't see a world where you have Stamkos and Palat. My kind of Stammer vision was always as part of a bigger picture where Palat was probably dealt in a separate deal, or maybe it's a 3-way trade, whatever it is. Because I don't think Nashville would want him, but I don't see them being here together in any logical world anyway. Jason, no, this team cannot maintain any ozone time or cycle pucks. No, it certainly doesn't seem like that's going to change anytime soon. And, because that's not the way they want to play. It just sucks, man. It's just so frustrating to watch 4 games now. Vegas, you guys are looking for a poor man's Timo. You have him in Paul Cotter. They won't give him his due on the top lines or power play, probably because he's an RFA next year. Wow, that's a conspiracy theory. You must be a Knights fan. I'm a big Paul Cotter guy, Vegas. I've pumped his tires all the time. I'm a big Paul Cotter fan. I've actually advocated for him to have a true shot in the top 6. He's gotten little sniffs of a couple shifts here and there for whatever reason. And I don't think it's contract related because I don't think Keefe gives a shit. I think Keefe wants to do whatever to win. I don't think he's part of some conspiracy theory to keep his salary down. I'm a Cotter guy, though, for sure. The future's bright. Jay Snow, we've been in a never-ending rebuild, and other teams are already ahead of us rebuilding. That's so sad, isn't it? Brian, can we play Timo on the right wing? I would like to see it, but I gave up on that battle. Just keep him on power play 1. Vegas says Paul Cotter is a poor man's Timo. Oh, I read this already. I'm like, what? Did you put this in here twice? Devil Dog, O'Reilly is 34 and exactly 1 year younger than Stamkos, and everybody wants him. Yeah, it's just, I think, kind of groupthink. Right, yeah. No one's talking about his age, and he's a whole year younger. He's got 9 and 12 this year. I'd be happy with either one. The boos were very loud. I'm not surprised. Woodson, I keep saying Luke is just a really expensive Severson, except Severson looks like Makar offensively compared to Luke. Oh, my God. Tropical Flamingo Ace, red light special coming soon at this clip. We're going down with this shit video part 2. Oh, God. This is so sad. Our community at least can help us get through these tough days. It's too early for any of that stuff. I'm just trying to get through the holidays, man. I still want this team to be in the thick of it come the new year. I mean, what a sorry and pathetic kind of hope at this point. I never thought it would be like this this early. I mean, December 5th, and I'm already like, just hoping to still be relevant in 2026. I never thought that would be the case. Trevor, somebody said it before. This team is built for Jack's game. When he's out, the team crumbles. If he's always going to be hurt, we need a new game plan. I mean, part of it should be, these guys not just folding up and doing nothing in his absence. I mean, it's inexcusable. There's so many guys that need to pull their weight. Suk, I gave Severson way too much hate when he was here. He was a disaster, but I just didn't think it could get worse. Oh, I told a lot of my buddies when people would chirp Severson, I said, you guys are going to miss him one day when he's gone. And we missed him and Graves big time that next season. Army, we definitely need another good center like Stammer. Relying on Jack and Nico to stay healthy is foolish. And a decent left wing. Jay Snow, keep running the same team back year after year. Mark, Stamkos has 1,201 points in 1,197 games, and he's only 35. He'll have been rejected by 2 teams, and he'll have something to prove. Well, I mean, rejected financially. The Lightning wanted him to stay there, but they didn't want to pay him. So he kind of felt some type of way and left. And I wouldn't say he's being rejected by the Preds. It just hasn't worked out. And he's not going to really probably fit their timeline to be competitive. So why stay there? From both the team standpoint and his. I don't want to trade a first for Stammer. Wow. Suk says, all I know, there are people who are literally paid a lot of money to discuss what we're all discussing right now. And I guarantee we're having better discussions than they are. I don't know about that, but maybe some of the comments here have some validity. A lot of them are just preposterous. Mark, has it occurred to anyone that Stamkos isn't a good fit in Nashville? Despite the naysaying, he still put up 53 points last year and 81 in his last year with Tampa Bay. Well, that's washed to a lot of people. Not to me, Mark, but these people, oh, he's washed, he's old, he's washed. I'm like, I wish we had a guy as washed as him. Would be a boost to this non-existent offense, for sure. How about the good luck charm, the big rig? He's not retired. Oh, man. Patty Maroon? He's not trying to unretire. Did he actually not retire? Isn't he on TV now? I thought he was officially retired. Suk, I'm not thrilled on the Stammer idea, but I say they should absolutely do it anyway. They have nothing to lose and it can't get worse. I mean, it's someone booed ace screen. What is that? Bring back Yuri Bisick, Sean Brown, Richard Smellick, and David Hale. Get those post 03 Cup winning weird names in the mix. Oh, boy. There's no chance they're dealing Nemo for Stammer. There's zero chance. Come on. That's ridiculous. Ryan says, Doomers booed Ace for not dooming at this stage. I'm not going to doom, but the reality is it's not good. Let me pull something up here. Do you think it's telling that Stamkos has been predominantly left wing and not center? Maybe an issue for us when it comes to our 3C spot. I want him, just saying. I would just think that that's, I don't know their exact line combinations, but I'd imagine that's just a function of them believing they're going to get the most out of Stamkos and give their, overall lineup the most balance by putting him at wing versus center. I believe he's playing on the top line with O'Reilly, right? I don't have their lines in front of me, but I'd imagine that's the reason. He's played center for so many years. I'm sure he would seamlessly step back into it if necessary on the Devils. Suk, there's not much that Fitz could do trade-wise to make me upset right now. I'm open to virtually anything. The team needs a different feel and just to not be not this in the worst way possible. Devils need to bring back Mrs. Fields. If Preds retain, you'll be trading either first rounder or Nemitz Edwards. Well, I'd definitely give up a first rounder before, for sure, Nemitz and probably Edwards as well. Richard Marchand was 37 and in serious consideration for the Conn Smythe. Retain some money, and I'll take Stammer in a minute. A winner, and would be rejuvenated with young legs around him. I completely agree with that. But a lot of people just want to go, he's washed, he's done. Why do you want this old man? Because he's a first ballot Hall of Famer and a legend, and I still think he could play. I'll take my chances with a guy like him any day. Although I will bring up, let me just pull it up. It's a complete pipe dream and never going to happen, but someone brought it up a few weeks ago. Yeah, it's definitely not going to happen. But the Evgeny Malkin dream, oh, God, I would love that so much. It's never going to happen. But that one, he would be high on my list too. Geno Malkin. Ryan, I'll take Marchand in a trade with the Panthers. Yeah, good luck with that. He's not going anywhere. David Ace, do you find it? Do I find it series? When haven't shown Jack in any of the home games in the booth, usually they show Devils dressed in suits. I don't know. I feel like he's probably a little bit kind of trying to be out of the public eye, given everything that's happened. I'm curious. Is he even at the games? I'm not even sure. He might be at some of them. The Luke hate is crazy. Bring Miles Wood back to NJ. That's not going to happen. He was another guy that was exciting for a while, though. He had a lot of grit to his game, too. He would fight and hit guys. Was pretty quick. I was a Miles Wood guy. He's my kind of guy, Miles Wood. Tropical Flamingo, it's crazy. I'm watching other games very intently right now due to us not being able to get any points right now. Caps Ducks is a thriller going on currently in... You guys got to help me out with some of the stuff you're typing. My God. Second period, maybe? Not what we are doing. It's that stupid YouTube mobile autocorrect. Jace, no, I'd be embarrassed if I was Jack. He got all butthurt when the media asked about his injuries at the beginning of the year. Yeah, you know, guys, a lot of guys, especially young guys, don't really like the media too much. And then they kind of snap a little bit. But yeah, I think Novo, was it Novo? Asked him a similar question a couple of times, and Jack was like, "You've already asked me twice in this one scrum. Like, I think we're done for the year." I was like, "Whoa, little snappy." Follow me on X though. I'm getting more involved on there. Just drop the link in the chat. Running with NJD on the old Twitters or the X, whatever you call it. I haven't looked at that since I've been on here. I'm sure the X is in a complete meltdown. I'll enjoy doom scrolling X at some point in my bed after this. It's going to be quite funny. I'm just scanning it right now. Oh, God. Yeah, it's ugly. People are tagging me in all kinds of memes. There's video. Oh, boy. Man. Richard. Keith has done a great job with all the going on last year. And this, if Lou were here, his way of waking these guys up, Keith out, and someone like DeBoer back, also a star jettisoned. I don't know if he would. Well, the thing is, I don't think Lou ever forced a coach or forced their hand to keep kind of swapping in and out minor league players at such a high level. Like the Glory Year Devils, there might be one or two maybe that were like fringe guys, but for the most part, they had real depth, and tons of these guys played 82 games. Standings are so close. Every game is critical. Completely agree. Brian, I want the old school 2009 Doberman line back. Ace, do you remember that short-lived fourth line? Weimer, Rasmussen, Jansen. Oh, boy. That was a sizable line. Cam Jansen, what a legend. Mark, before I saw the Stamkos rumor, I saw a rumor linking us to Philip Forsberg. Wouldn't mind giving up quite a bit for both Forsberg and Stamkos. I just can't see. I mean, that would be a blockbuster. And Forsberg makes a lot of money. I think he makes like 8.5. Let's check. Yeah, like why not get throw Marchessault and Stamkos in there too. So we'll get Forsberg, Stamkos, O'Reilly, Marchessault. Why not? We'll just trade for their whole team. What is his contract? I want to say Forsberg makes like 8.5. Yep, 8.5. I mean, that's a lot. It's not crazy, but like, it's tough. It is tough. People like Toffoli, I never got it. He was so beyond slow for a fast team. Yeah, because he led the team in goals. Exactly. Suk, that's Devils hockey nowadays. Be mid or bad for a few years, have a good year somewhere in there, then realize it ain't and restart. Oh, no. Oh, no. Tropical, you watch how other teams are scoring. We are not doing any of those things, particularly to screen goaltenders and get deflections. We need to cycle pucks and get in front of the net. Yeah, this is what I would call the plans B, C, after the plan A doesn't work, which is the speed transition, catch them slipping, pounce on mistakes, and run and gun. And the smart teams don't let them do that. Ethan, if we could get Kane, would you want him? What Kane are you talking about? Which Kane? In a hypothetical world, I would probably want either one. But I'm curious which one you meant. Robert, the two guys that give us a boost now, Binnington, Stamkos, 2 Cup winners that went out, get him fits. Jordan Binnington? On what planet do you think that's happening? Binner? Oh, man. I can't wait to hear the explanation of this. Jace, no, I don't like this defensive system. It's so much running around and stick waving. Brian, we're too happy with the roster on paper. It all falls on Fitz to add more to it, switch things around. It's like we are satisfied for what he's put together and scared to let him improve. I'm not. I'm not attached to anything at this point. It's time to at a minimum add and at a maximum the earth-shattering move. And I'm not saying it's necessarily time for the earth-shattering move. It's definitely close to talking about it at a real level. But at minimum, there should be some sort of, O'Reilly-ish acquisition. Running with the Woods and Bratton, Casey plus picks for Forsberg and Stammer. Wow. Like that's like a foundational kind of shake. Something like that could potentially, and I don't know if it's going to happen this season or if it's in the off season, but if they do decide to move on and dismantle the core, I do think a deal like that is probably somewhat in the realm of reality. Husky Unchained, it feels gross. Couldn't agree more. Ace, damn, we deserve more from this organization. Patrick Kane, yeah, he's not going to want to come here, but I would love Patrick Kane. Listen, any sort of legend on a sensible deal and we don't have to crazy pay for, sign me up. I'm a sucker for legends, and we need guys that have been there before, not Palats. Like, there's no disrespect to Palat, but guys like Patrick Kane and Stammer that are legit first ballot Hall of Famer legends are in a different stratosphere. They command respect in every locker room they walk into. It is a different beast. Richard, Ace, I like Keefe, and he's not the problem, but Lou had a way of waking guys up. Remember when he fired Julian? He would not put up with this, and other wake-up would be a star jettisoned trade. I mean, maybe. Lou did change coaches like he changed socks. Jay Snow, we don't win board battles. We're not hard on the forecheck. Things you need to do to keep pucks in the ozone. I agree. Grits has been, I think, surprising in this category to me. It seems like he does win a good amount of battles, and it seems like Mercer will try and lose a lot. I don't know. It's just overall, though, it does seem like we just get out-muscled and kind of bullied. I do feel that way as well. I'm sure. Is there some fancy charts for this? There's got to be. But it does seem like very few and far between moments where the Devils are just sustained pressure in the ozone, and you're like, damn, and they're snapping it around. It doesn't happen all that often. Shit, it can't. Some nights we can't even get that sort of pressure on the power play. Never mind an even strength. Binnington, if he goes anywhere, would end up in Edmonton. We all want this team to do something, and they won't. Snow Devil just joining now. I didn't go to the game because after seeing such bad losses the last 2 games, I just didn't feel any enthusiasm about going. Glad I didn't travel over an hour to the game tonight. I'm glad I didn't travel far less than that because I just had a bad feeling. Richard, Devils trade deadline is now. That could be, or they could be too deep in the hole at the actual deadline. That's my biggest fear. Devil Dog, Tyler Toffoli, Ace, bring your buddy on that was head of the Toffoli fan club that wanted to give him $6 million per, he ended up being prophetic. With hindsight, and again, only because the cap going up and because we never fully or never even tried to address filling that hole in the top 6 outside of signing Dodonov this summer, which we all thought was a bottom 6 signing. And then it turns out going into training camp to surprise, Dodonov's on the top line with Jack and Brad, everybody. Yay. And so, if we knew that it was going to be completely ignored, then sure, you want Toffoli at the $6 million, which is an even bigger bargain now because of the increased cap. But at the time, we all just assumed that $6 million would go towards, a different top 6 player that fit the team better than Toffoli did, but they decided not to. Don't be a boomer. Richard, my kid was at the game tonight, and excluding Timo, Dilly, and Nason, the size discrepancy was beyond alarming. Yeah, the Devils are not. It's interesting how so many people are. Well, a lot of the same people here probably have been on that side of things for a while. But Jason, I really think they don't have the right type of players, and it sucks to say it. David, honestly, I don't think many teams in the East are afraid to play us in the playoffs now that they see what kind of team we are when Jack's injured. Brian, would you do this trade right now? Stamkos and O'Reilly for Hamilton, Palat, Casey, Dawes, a second-round pick? Yes. 1,000%. That would. I don't. Let me think about this. I'm definitely doing it. What does O'Reilly make? 4.5, 12.5. That frees up some money. I mean, that would be. I think that'd be an amazing deal for the Devils. Can't see it happening. I think that's pipe dreams. Yeah, there's. I don't think there's any chance of that happening, but that would certainly be interesting. Robert, Bennington had a face-to-face with Jim Montgomery after being pulled last game. Not a good look for St. Louis. Dun, dun, dun. Mark, Fitz never be Lou. On at least 2 occasions, Lou fired the coach, went down to the ice, and coached the team himself. He took care of things. Lou's such a gangster. I remember when he went behind the bench for the first time, I was like, this guy's nuts. The players probably hated it. Having Lou behind the bench, oh, my God. What a weird dynamic. This guy's the general manager and the coach. Terrible. Michael, I hope they don't bring Jack back to earlier and risk the possible re-injury. I don't think that'll happen. My guess is you won't see any moves until after Christmas. Even then, I fear the days going by beyond that, waiting for move in silence to realize it ain't coming. Wow. I don't know why I don't think Nashville would make that trade. I don't think it kind of made sense. It would make sense. That's why it's like people throwing out crazy trades. But bring back Jacques Lemaire round 4. Oh boy. Jason, I've been on the size thing for a long time. I know you have too, Ace. A lot of people on Twitter think size and physical play doesn't matter. Do they watch the playoffs? I'm convinced that they don't, because when you watch playoff hockey, you just see bodies hitting the ice and people getting crunched left and right. I don't know how you could. Brian, spot on about the size and physicality issues. I watch other games and teams like actually finish their checks consistently, not just your Dillons, Cotters, Nasons. It's just not the physicality is not there. You'd like to see a higher level of it. Some teams just have it and some don't. We just don't overall. And it is discouraging because it's just like, Maria, I went to the game. Would have been a different game if they didn't call back Timo's goal. Yeah, I agree. That was kind of deflating because we were getting dominated before that. Timo's, it was actually Nico's. Nico led the line. He tipped it. Yeah, it just seemed like, we got lucky kind of. temporarily daze them after they're dominating us, get a goal, it gets wiped off, and then that was it. That was it. The Devils look like they're standing next to trees compared to Vegas. Evan, Fitzy, or Devils don't know how to check. They try to, but when a small guy does it, they fall down. Man. I just can't believe it. For those of you that missed it before, let me see here. I'm going to play it one more time for those that may have missed it in honor of a fallen, well, not a fallen soldier, but a soldier that was gone too soon. This is the last time the New Jersey Devils won a playoff series. I'll be right back. I'm using the bathroom and getting some water. I'm very thirsty. Enjoy this throwback. Akira! New Jersey Devils. Be right back.
One minute remaining in the period.
What a night. What a night. For those that weren't fans then, if you're newer, then if you became a fan after that moment, I implore you to I messed it. Can you guys hear me? Can someone verify you could hear me in the thing? Can you guys hear me? All right, perfect. Sorry, my thing got messed up. What a night in franchise history, and that was Akira Schmid in net, wrapping up a win over the hated New York Rangers in a heroic 7th game with the shutout, and that man slipped through our fingers. But if you want to relive those moments, I would advise you to, after this live, to just poke around on the channel. Just put in Game 7 Rangers. There's tons of great videos that I took at the game of all of their fans filing out, playing the na epic times. When we stole their goal song outside of American Whiskey and flooded the streets, and Newark looked like Woodstock. What a scene. What a scene. What a beautiful scene it was that night. Brought to you by franchise legend Akira Schmid. Akira Schmid, forever a legend in our hearts. We will never forget his contributions. He did something that no one else has done in quite some time other than Marty Brodeur, and that is deliver a series win for the New Jersey Devils. Does anyone have anything else? I feel nauseous right now. I have so much to do when I get off of here. I have to go watch all the, they didn't show Keefe on TV, so someone said he spoke. I want to see that. What other Markey? Oh man, I meant to talk about this. I feel so bad for Markey. He looked like he wanted to, either kill someone and or cry when they're asking them the dumbest questions. And that's why a lot of these guys don't like the media, because people just ask questions for the sake of asking questions. Like, you know, in my brief media career, I only asked questions the one game when I had good ones or what I thought were good questions. I just don't like asking questions just for the sake of it. And they had Markey just, you know, they're asking him just like, I don't know. I just felt like they were terrible questions. Like, yeah, you didn't stop the puck. Like, what happened? And he was just so furious. He wasn't out there long, but man, it was sad to watch. He looked really mad. But I got to watch all the post-game stuff. I'm going to scroll the Twitter. It's probably going to be painful. Wow. Just what a night. What a night, guys. It's super unfortunate. Oh, I got to mention, Fanatics is having a crazy deal. Put the link in the chat. I just dropped it in the chat, and it's pinned in the chat. Hold on. I'm going to pull something. I got more stuff coming, too. Some of you saw this, but I think this one sold out, but they have it in other colors, I think. This is a nice quality. It's a thick guy, too. Nice quality Mitchell and Ness hoodie. I think they have the same style and maybe gray. Drastically on sale, and some of the stuff is like below 50%, more than 50% off. So check out that link. I just dropped it in the chat. It's pinned at the top of the chat as well. Fanatics, buy yourself some new swag. Get your holiday gifts. Lots of quality. Mitchell and Ness is beautiful quality, I must say. You guys know that I am just a glutton for Devils merchandise. I have told you guys before. I have an entire closet in the studio that is completely packed with just New Jersey Devils apparel. Does that stop me from buying more? Absolutely not, because when you are dedicated, you are dedicated. And I keep buying shit. Also, it's on the way. I'm not pulling the box right now. I have a problem. I've placed multiple different orders on Fanatics. There's so much stuff. The Lululemon collection, I will say I'm not like a Lululemon guy. I've never bought a item of Lululemon anything out of my price range, kind of expensive. But after feeling some of their stuff in person, it is better quality than a lot of the stuff you see. And there's some Lululemon Devils pieces from their NHL collab that are included in this sale too. And if you guys know about Lululemon, most of the time that's a brand that's excluded from all the sales. Not this time. Fanatics is going big for the holidays. And I did get a Lululemon item, and I'm thinking about another one. Pretty nice sale. So check it out. But hit the link. Tons of crazy stuff for crazy prices. I didn't see Nico. They didn't show him on TV, I don't think. Or maybe I was running around playing with cables and stuff. But I watch all of it. Devil Dog, if we take out the 2012 Devils Cup Finals run, the only playoff teams we've beaten other than the Rangers in round one since winning the Cup in 2003 was Ottawa in 2007. Yeah, it's painful. Brian, I was there in 2012 and we beat those Rags. Oh, Henrique, it's over. It was one of the shining moments at the Rock. Top 3 moment in Rock history for the Devils. I would say in no particular order, the top 3. I never talked about this, I don't think. Top 3 moments for the New Jersey Devils since moving to the Prudential Center. This one's a pretty easy one for me. Game 6, 2012 Eastern Conference Finals. Henrique, it's over. Devils knock out the Rangers, advance to the Stanley Cup Finals. I'm going to go that same year, a couple weeks later, 2012 Cup Finals, Game 5. Devils trailing 3-1 in the series. Devils win a big Game 5 at home. Cut the deficit to 3-2 to force the Game 6 out in LA. Obviously, we all know how that ended with the Bernier penalty, and the Devils got screwed. And then the Kings won the Cup. But that Game 5 is in the top 3 moments of Prudential Center for sure. The only Stanley Cup Finals win in the history of Prudential Center. And then the other one would be Marty 552 night. Marty breaks the all-time wins record that Patrick Roy had. Unbelievable stuff. But other than those, there's not much. And I guess Game 7 against the Rangers would probably be number 4. Some people might put that over Marty 552. I couldn't. Just because it's a first round. Obviously, there's a premium on it because it's the Rangers. But 552 is like, that's a significant, NHL history, huge record. I would put that over that, I think. David says he'll trade for another no-name player like Chalowski. Oh, boy. Richard, teams bigger are meeting them at the neutral zone and slowing them down a bit and forcing them to dump the puck, which we are losing those battles, unfortunately. Yeah, we're not really a dump and chase team, obviously. And when, sometimes we could have some success with it, but it's not their primary way. And smart teams do force them to do it. Oh yeah, Twitter's ugly right now. Oh, it's brutal. Brian, acquiring Steve Sullivan back again in 2015 and also trading for Tom Kostopoulos are other huge moments. Oh, boy. Anyone have anything else in closing here? This has been... Wow. What a sad night. And we get to do it all again tomorrow. On the road in Boston. On the road in Boston. Larry, Ace, are you still all in on Stamkos if the cost included Mercer? Absolutely not. No, that's the thing. Like, I'm sensible about it. Like, I'm not trading really any roster players for him outside of Palat and potentially Dougie. I don't see them wanting either one, but those are two roster players I would put in the deal. But other than that, no, I'm trying to trade them futures, prospects, picks only. I'm not trading a guy like Mercer in a deal like that. No way. If Mercer's going out, it would have to be for a significant upgrade, in my opinion, like a big time get. I'm not trading him in any of these smaller time deals. Luke says his team needs multiple moves and it ain't happening. I agree. We probably need like 2 or 3 guys. Put Gritsuk on the first line. When Jack comes back, you might see a top line of Jack, Mercer, and Grits. They looked good that one game. I think that could be somewhat interesting. But in the meantime, I don't know what the answer is. This team just looks lost. Shut out in back-to-back games. Richard, put the entire team for a 6-week cycle on the juice. Everyone will gain 30 pounds. If only it were that easy. Maria says more cardio and leg days needed. We need these guys to develop a mean streak. David, as weird as this sounds, Ace, I love listening to these things when the Devils lose. Oh, boy. You make the losses easier to digest as fans. Well, if it makes you feel any better, then I suppose that's a compliment. So thanks. Or I don't know what exactly to say to that. But it's kind of like therapy, guys. We celebrate the losses. We commiserate. Or we celebrate the wins, rather. It's late, guys. We celebrate the wins, commiserate the losses. Win or lose, we booze this. I don't like this rum. Would you dangle Brat? I don't think I would go out of my way to do it, but I've said, I don't think any person is untradeable. And so if there is a move to be made that could improve the team, you have to consider any and all options. I certainly wouldn't go out of my way to try it, though. Brian, rather keep Gritsuk back there with Nico and Timo on the right wing. I want to see Timo on the right. Gleason, Ace, did you read any of my comments tonight? And we were fighting about them. I probably missed it. I don't know what you're talking about. Would Cotter for sure would work? Absolutely not. Not even close. Luke, I'm just going to enjoy the wins and face the facts. We're the Jets, Mets type team, HBSE, booze, face life. Oh, boy. I hope you're wrong, Luke. I fear you could be right, but I hope not. Can Canelo Alvarez skate? I don't think so. Brian, should I buy my Colton White jersey now? Probably not. I do think you'll get at least a few more weeks out of it. But his time will certainly come to an end at some point when Mr. Pesci returns, which is hopefully soon. That'll be the first kind of jolt to help this team regain some sort of respect. But Jack Hughes is going to be the one we're all waiting on. When does Jack return? Not soon enough, because this team is a shell of its former self. Suk says, until the next atrocity, see y'all tomorrow. Richard says, Ace, grow the beard back. We were winning when you had it. I have to go check the video, because for a lot of the winning streak, I did not have it. I go in and out of the beard situation. I'm kind of torn on it. I have pros and cons of both. I haven't firmly decided. So I'm kind of dabbling in both worlds, the beard or not. But I do think, no, because that was in the beginning. No, I definitely did not have it for some of the winning streak. I'm going to have to check videos, but I know for sure at least half of it I did not. Brian, why are they not feeling Casey staying with the big club? Figure now's the optimal time where you could get him ice time. I think they're just concerned about him in the D zone, and he did play. He played those couple games or few games. Let me see. I forget how many games it was. And then I think they just decided that they were going to keep him in the A. And both Cholowski, it was 2 games. Cholowski and White have gotten the nods over him since. And so, I just have to imagine that for whatever reason right now, given the guys we have in and out of the lineup, they feel more comfortable with Cholowski or White versus Casey. Maybe it's tactical. I don't really know, because you would think that he would be potentially a prospect dangled to other teams in potential trades if they said they were looking for defensemen. And I think Salayev could be in that boat too, like I said before. But we'll see. But they're more comfortable with other guys. The D zone work from him is a little suspect. He obviously has the offensive upside. Snow Devil, I do think we'll have to trade a couple roster players if we really want to be contenders. We don't look anything like Colorado or Dallas. Yeah, I mean, if that's the measuring stick, like, good luck. I don't think you're going to see a team that on paper you're like, oh, this team matches up. But I would love to play the Avalanche in the Cup Finals. It's nice to dream, right? Luke, Ace, get the calls up and running and get the bar set up going. The way the season is going, we're going to need it. Oh, no. Maria said, I thought I saw Kiefer's wife at the game. The calls are coming soon. So I've had a lot of stuff going on. But the calls will be soon. But I can't imagine what the calls would have been like had I taken calls tonight. I'm not shaving my beard until we beat Carolina in the playoff series. Oh, boy. You might go to the grave with a beard, my guy. I shave during a heater. Come on, bro. I don't think I don't think I had the beard when it started. So it's a kind of, I can't be that level of superstitious. I mean, I'm kind of superstitious, but that one's, I have to check the video, but I know for a fact, let me just look at the thumbnails. I definitely didn't have it for Edmonton, which was the second home game. That was the start of my short-lived media career. The Edmonton game, let me see. Was that the 18th? Yeah, didn't have it for Edmonton. Yeah, I don't think I had it for the first half. So I can't be blamed for this. Gleason, Seamus Casey doesn't play defense unless he's in a sheltered role. Even White is better than him. Right now, defensively, yeah. Snow Devils, Pesci expected back before the end of December. He has the potential to really be a game changer to end the slump. I don't know if he's single-handedly going to do that. But it'll definitely be a help. Larry says Casey maintains his value in the AHL. Here now he would get exposed. That's what I kind of think. Like, are they shielding him to just kind of be like, you saw a taste in the league, like he's going to be a good player. He's in the AHL. It could be. It could be in conjunction with the fact that they just feel more comfortable with some of those other guys. I hope you're wrong. I really hope you're wrong. Brian, I'm so sick of Carolina. Even when we are rolling, they're right there with us. Then the playoffs, forget it. 02, 06, 09, 2024, can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I'm completely with you. Anyone got anything else? I'm depressed. ZZ Pops was a great Devils line. Zach Parise, Travis Zajac, and Jamie Langenbrunner. Definitely a top 10 line in Devils history, I would say. In my personal list, they're probably top 5 to 7. A-line, crash line. What do you got? Hell's Angels, the Egg line. Yeah, they could be a top, definitely top 5 to 7, and maybe even top 5. Let me check something here. One thing I loved last night was seeing Toronto beat up the Canes in Raleigh. I hate that team. Yeah, so do I. Eggline was on my list. Felice, and if you're another team, you could, you probably can tell that they're playing other guys over Casey and shielding his value, and the A might not work. Teams know he's limited, not maximizing the pick they used on him. I mean, I don't know. I still think he would have decent value in a trade. And I do think there is something about, that they just feel more comfortable defensively with some of the other guys they have available. Would be interesting to see if he ever gets called up and gets another look. I could kind of see that going either way, but if it doesn't happen in the next few weeks, it's probably not going to happen. I think they'll just be, probably stick with the Cholowski White situation, and they probably won't deviate from it. If I had to guess, I hope we see Crookshank next game. I mean, obviously he wasn't a game breaker, but he was more noticeable than Lammikko. Number 46 pick is pretty high to throw away. Well, it's not going to be thrown away. He's either going to be here or we'll get something for him. Did you buy a Timo 96 jersey? I did not buy a Timo 96 jersey, but so I didn't buy the 96 jersey. Sorry, it took me. What the heck? Wrong thing. I do have this helmet. I have the Timo Playoff 96 helmet. They took the face protection off. Unfortunately, it would have been cool to have the shield on there with the mouthpiece, but they did take it off. I don't know why this is not working. He's a worrier, but I'll be anxious to see how Pesce handles blocking shots when he returns. That bomb Burns hit him would certainly have me make adjustments. He's not going to change. This is not his first rodeo. Definitely not his first rodeo. Pesce eats pucks for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That will not change. For better or worse, Brett Pesce, the shot blocking machine, will continue to sacrifice his body and put it on the line nightly for our beloved New Jersey Devils. And that's why you got to love a guy like that. I like Diot. He looked good in prospect camp always, too. Brandon, I personally think Ruff ruined this core for us. Our entire team was so dependent on Jack's rush that we got so used to it. When Jack gets injured, the Devils just freeze and have no idea what to do. I mean, but what about the guys that don't play on his line? I mean, you just can't use that as an excuse for everyone to not perform whatsoever. Like, you can't just fold up as a team when one player goes down. I've never seen anything like this. Good night, Justin. Snow Devil, liked what I saw from the Shank tonight. Hope we have a better game tomorrow, and I hope Fitz does something for us because I think Keith has tried all he can. Good night. Bring up Borderlow. I mean, for who? I'm not opposed to anybody. A little Legari action. Brandon, as much as I agree, Ruff is gone. Our team was literally trained off Jack's zone rush. We can't adapt. Yeah, it's brutal, guys. Listen, tomorrow's going to be another tough one. No easy wins in this league. The Bruins, second place in the Atlantic. They're trying to stay there because this season it looks like it might flip. Although it's very early in the season, but the Metro may end up being the division with more points. So teams in the Atlantic really might have to finish in the top 3 to make the playoffs. Otherwise, the wild card spots may be occupied by metropolitan teams that aren't in the top 3. But right now, the Bruins are in second place, 32 points, playing .552 points percentage hockey, 16-13. Big game for both these clubs tomorrow in Beantown. In an ideal world, I do wish I could go, but I just to drive there and do all that to possibly witness what I think I might witness. It's a lot. Good night, Christopher. Richard, all right, kids. I'm out. I'm hoping to see a move sometime next week. Be well, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Better come out hitting tomorrow. I hope so. Brian, there's 11 teams in the East with a winning record and 4 in the West with a winning record, including OT losses as losses. Weird year. Definitely a weird year. Man from Jersey, good night, everyone. Hopefully we could break the losing streak tomorrow, Larry. It's simple. They don't have the speed in our puck handlers without Jack aren't that great. Other than Brad and Nico, they are lacking. All right, guys. That's it. I'm cooked. I'm emotionally and physically drained. Our beloved New Jersey Devils. Shutout. At home, at the Rock, by franchise legend Akira Schmid. Comes back to haunt the Devils. Golden Knights win 3-0. The New Jersey Devils now have lost 4 games in a row at home, at the Rock, and have been shut out twice in a row. Absolutely grotesque stuff. In action tomorrow in Boston, taking on the Bruins. I'm sure we'll see Jake Allen in net. Will we see any other surprises in terms of the lineup? I don't know. I hope we see Crookshank again. And hopefully this team somehow finds a way to score a goal. I mean, score a goal and win a game. But I'll be back soon, guys. But depressing times. I'm going to go do some more retail therapy. But check out the Fanatics link pinned in the chat. It's in the description. Huge sale. I think they might be adding stuff randomly too, unless I'm just missing stuff, because I find something new I didn't see before every time I go on there, and I'm just going to continue to add to this New Jersey Devils wardrobe that's already out of control. All right, that's it, guys. That's it. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go